happens now, Jamal?
Say it again?
What happens now after starting the season 3-7? Where you go from here?
Gotta fight. Gotta keep going. At the end of the day, we're pros. We have a job to do. We gotta keep fighting.
What was going on third downs today?
Not getting off the field.
Were they not executing?
Yeah, I think it's a little bit of both, man. You know, just you know, when 10 guys do their job and one doesn't, you know, that play can happen. You know, you gotta give credit to those guys over there. That's a great group of guys, well coached. You know, have a lot of talent on that side, and that made things happen. We just couldn't get off the field.
Jamal, they beat you guys with a lot of underneath stuff in the passing game.
Yeah.
Was that what you expected to see out of them with the backup quarterback?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, obviously he was getting the ball out of his hands quick, making precise throws, and their guys were catching the ball and making plays.
So Jamal, if you all expected that, why was it so difficult for you all to stop?
You know, again, you know, those are pros over there. They made plays. They get paid as well, and you know, we just couldn't get off the field. We couldn't make our plays when we needed to.
What's the messaging in the locker room right now?
Say it again?
What's the message in the locker room right now?
Yeah, still fighting. You know, staying as positive as we can. At the end of the day, we're pros. Like I said, I'm gonna keep saying it. We have a job to do. We gotta stick together as a group, as a team. Can't have individuals going one way or the other. Everybody has to be pulling on the same rope, and we got to climb out of this. We're in a storm right now.
Is it a challenge to stay positive right now?
No, absolutely not. You know, in life you go through a lot of ups and downs. You go through a lot of BS. You know, you lose people. You have incidents. You know, whatever it is, man. You know, you go through a lot of ups and downs, a lot of trial and error in life, and you got to keep going. The day you stop, the day you quit, that's the day you'll fail, that's the day you'll die. So I just try to stay positive with my mindset. I try to preach that in the locker room as well. You know, nothing in life is perfect. You just got to keep on fighting, keep on going. You know, sooner or later, that storm will end.
Jamal, you guys came into the season with obviously really high expectations.
Right.
I can't imagine this doesn't sting pretty significantly, though, at this point, just being where you are in the season and knowing where it sits and all of that. How do you guys kind of process that at this point?
Yeah, obviously it's shocking, but all the games we've lost, we should have won, or we were in it. You know what I mean? And we just didn't come out on top. Whether that was executing, whether that was playing smart, or whether that was, you know, just getting off the field. I'm speaking for defense-wise, and you know, making plays. It's a tough situation, but at the end of the day, we got to stay as positive as possible. We got to keep our working hats on, and we got to stay focused on, you know, the ultimate goal.
Did you think you had to stop there on that last third down when they threw it to Hurts, or that they threw the flag on him?
Yeah, I mean, you know, hey, it's an offensive league, you know, bang situation. I kind of put my hand on him a little bit, hooked him a little bit. Maybe they called that, but I let go at, you know, bang situation. You know, everybody has their opinion about it, but obviously, you know, I can't, you know, have that penalty towards the end of the game, you know, to, you know, hurt the team. So, you know, I gotta get better.
Jamal, when you're trying to ground the team in the storm that you're talking about, how much is the balance of looking what was behind and what's forward in the locker room, the grounding of the message?
Well, you know, again, man, you just however many games we have left, right? Those are our opportunities, and those are our opportunities in life. Those are our opportunities with the game of football. We're very fortunate and very blessed to play this game of football. At the end of the day, we're pros. I'm going to continue to say that. And you know, we got to stay focused. You got to stay positive. You know, obviously this is not what, you know, Seattle is used to. But at the end of the day, we got to go out there and we got to switch it around. We're in a storm right now, and you know, it's going to take all of us to get out.
What was Pete like in the locker room after that game?
I mean, everybody is just like Pete, man. We're frustrated, obviously. You know what I mean? We're frustrated. You know, we want to win. but it's not happening for us right now. So what are we going to do to get out of it, you know? And that's got to be a collective agreement as a whole in that locker room, you know, and we will. We will get out of this storm sooner than later.
Jamal, that first drive, Arizona had 9 minutes, touchdown. What do you guys talk about as that is progressing? Because we've had several of those over the last couple of weeks, the long drives that eat up the clock. What's the discussion like?
So you're saying the first drive as far as like the time management?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you know, we can only do so much, right? If they control the clock, you know, obviously we want to get off the field, but we can't control the clock ticking down. You know what I mean? Yeah, we want to. Our ultimate goal as a defense is to take the field and get the ball back to the offense, right? That's our goal. We're not focused on anything else but executing and getting the ball back to our offense. So, you know, obviously the time and possession of them having the football, we can't control that. But we can control getting off that field, and that's what we needed to do. But obviously in that situation, for the first drive, we didn't get off the field and they scored. Does that answer your question?
About why you guys had such a struggle getting off the field.
I mean, we weren't executing. You know what I mean? There's no ifs, ands, or buts. It's just execution. We got to get off the field. But at the end of the day, they had players as well. They get paid as well, and they made their plays, and we did.
All season long, Minnesota, Green Bay, today, the underneath stuff, you guys are dropping off. What's the balance there of how do you get out of that? How do you counteract or be more aggressive to a team that's obviously taking what you're giving?
Well, you get a little bit more aggressive, and you attack, you know. But, you know, that's the nature of the beast. That's what teams are hitting us on, and we got to adjust.
When you say attack, do you mean blitz more, or is it more to it than that?
A little bit of everything. I would say blitzing. I would say, you know, a little bit of manning. That's what we did towards the end. You know, we started to get a little bit more aggressive with it, and you know, attack them at the line of scrimmage. I look back on my play it was a bonehead play. It was first down. I should have been down in the C gap a little bit closer. We was in a man. They ran the ball. I just, you know, just situational football, first and second down, just knowing the situation, and I knew that. That was a bonehead mistake. Obviously, gave up like 5 on that run. I could have, you know, been in my gap to slow that down and prevent that. But, you know, just little things like that. We got to get better, myself included. You know what I mean? And we're in this together. You know, it's not an individual game. It's a team game. And, you know, I like us always.
How much time was spent during the week preparing for Colt McCoy to be their quarterback?
How much what?
Time during the week. Like, how much did you game plan for Colt?
I mean, we're game playing for everybody every week. So it's countless hours.
Is it difficult to do this right here? You know,
Absolutely not. Nope. Because, you know, there's no point in running from it. You know what I mean? You got to attack it. You know, and like I said, in life, you know, if something goes wrong, you don't run from adversity. You attack it. So, you know, for me, I've been through a lot over the course of my career. So I'm not shying away from anybody. At the end of the day, this is my job. This is what I asked to do at a young age. When I was just 3 years old running around, I've always wanted to do this. So, you know, to be successful in this game of football, you have to, you know, sometimes come up and do hard things and things that make you uncomfortable. So, you know, I'm fine, man. I'm doing all right.
Why should people outside of the locker room believe that the Seahawks can turn this around?
That's a great question. I think that, you know, they should believe because you can never lose belief in something as far as, you know, a team or organization. It's a great group of guys that's fighting for one purpose, you know, each and every week, every day, a lot of sacrifice. We're going to turn it around. You know, do I know when? No, I'm not that guy. But we will turn it around. You know, it's just about taking those steps each and every day. And you know, for the outside, obviously we can't control the outside noise and who believes in us. But I like us. I believe in us. We believe in each other. You know what I mean? And that's really what matters, you know, at the moment. It's not really what matters what other people are kind of thinking about us right now, because that's when you get into feeding into that's where you lose focus on the real goal. So the 53-man roster, the team, the practice players, the coaching staff, the training staff, the equipment staff, we all believe in one goal, and that's winning. So, you know, we're gonna continue to do what we do, and we're not gonna waver. We're not gonna listen to the outside noise. Obviously, it's gonna come. It comes with it. You know, when you're not successful, it just happens. It's the NFL, right? It's the game of sports. So we just gotta keep our foot on the gas and continue to work, and that's where we can go for there.
Thanks, Jamal.
Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Jordan?